Well, I thought I'd try and find somewhere a bit more interesting than my room. So we're in Newcastle Emlyn, and this is the actual castle. It doesn't look very new, does it? But believe me, it was new when they built it. So I guess that's enough. I'm here to get some more bits for the medieval clock, which looks positively brand spanking newly modern compared to what we've got here. But let's just do a few shots of the castle. So this has got to be just about one of the most cosmic places in Wales. It's the place where the castle in Newcastle Emlyn is actually built. It's the mound where it all started hundreds and hundreds of years ago. This would have been kind of like a little town buzzing with activity. Today there's only me, but there are people about. Everyone still makes the pilgrimage up here every so often, you know, because for local people it's a great point of connection. And of course, you know, we've got Merlin's prophecy written down there, which is no bad thing. Let the dukes who are troubled by their own poverty have these. They who are not satisfied with a moderate amount, but desire a great deal, to these gifts I prefer the groves and broad oaks of Caledon, and the lofty mountains with green pastures at their feet. Those are the things that please me, not these of yours. Take these away with you, King Rhydderch, my Caledonian forest, rich in nuts, the forest that I prefer to everything else shall have me. What they have is not enough for them, but for me the acorns of pleasant Caledon and the shining fountains flowing through fragrant meadows are sufficient. I am not attracted by gifts, let the miser take his, and unless liberty is given me, and I go back to the green woodland valleys, I shall refuse to explain my laughter. And there's the view from here. It's kind of dark, kind of misty. Autumn has returned, just in time for Gwyl Dewi. Amazing, isn't it, that prophecy of Merlin? And who knows exactly sort of when it came and exactly who wrote it down. See, that different people can write things down and it might still have come from the same master back in the day. So as much as there's controversy about that, personally I strongly believe Merlin was very real, and that so are his powers. Everything they've written about him. The only thing is, I sometimes think perhaps he lived kind of many thousands of years ago, longer than that. We just don't know. That kind of thing does very easily get lost. When you look back into things like the Old Testament of the Bible that were written in antiquity, and they talk about people living for 600 years, 900 years, who knows exactly how they arrived at those figures. People didn't kind of count things and see everything literally the way we do now. For example, it's well understood in the Hebrew culture of those days, and still is, magical circles, that consonants have a power of some kind, and this is why when we're saying incantations or anything that's even a mantra, whatever, it's important to say it out loud in that sense, even though you know it's okay to whisper it. And I wonder where that leaves the vowels, actually, and I suppose the vowels really carry the meaning of it, that give it its earthly meaning to us, and give it that kind of physical ring to it, the singing part of the incantation, if you will. Even if you speak, there's a kind of singing behind it, and that kind of thing is very strongly recognised in the Welsh culture, actually, and that's why I wanted to bring it up today, St. David's Day. It's been said that Merlin's prophecy was originally written in Cornish. All I can say is that Merlin did actually live in Wales for a significant part of his life, certainly at the end, and Carmarthen, the town near here, which I've mentioned a few times now, is actually based on his name. It's Caer Ferthin, and Ferthin is Merthin, and Merthin is the Welsh for Merlin. I'm not great at pronouncing words of any language, actually, come to think of it, but I really think that Merlin is, a great deal of the mystery of Merlin belongs in Wales. Also, of course, in Avalon, and I'm very keen to go every now and again to Glastonbury Tor. It's about 3 hours drive from here, and Merlin was certainly involved in that area. Some say that kind of the actual real Camelot isn't far from there. but it's all so far back in time nobody knows. The truth comes out though when you climb up Glastonbury Tor and you go up to the tower, St Michael's Tower, up at the top there. It's just immensely powerful. I was talking about it in the video about UFOs and ETs the other day. And gosh, you know, in any spiritual sense at all, it's immensely powerful. Some say that Glastonbury Tor is the heart chakra of the planet. But, you know, the ley lines go everywhere. So just because this is now called a separate country and is called Wales and is something different and separate, doesn't actually stop the mystical truth from actually travelling. And this is a great... I mentioned this in my video that I did a while ago about racism. Boundaries round things. We're pretty clever putting boundaries round things and deciding, well, this is our part of the world, this is our thing that belongs to us. But spirituality knows no boundaries. I'm particularly finding this on YouTube, where I'm meeting people from all over the world, and but we only know what we're told. And again, it's this clever thing of sort of politicians, TV companies, everybody really, wanting to put a boundary around things because we like to belong in tribes. But slowly that's breaking down with the internet. And I hope I'm here next St David's Day with evidence of how it's broken down even more. So folks, hope you enjoyed today's show. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't enjoyed it, you know what to do. Give me a subscribe. The button's down there somewhere. And tap the bell to make sure you don't miss out. Okay, thanks again friends. See you soon. Goodbye.